Here for the Lowe's early Black Friday deals? You're right on time for some of our biggest savings. We're talking up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, up to an extra 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Holiday lights going up soon? Select ladders are up to 50% off right now. Get Black Friday prices without the Black Friday crowds. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 11/19. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
I'm Gary Birtles, one of the old gits from a long time ago. You've got to tune into Tricky Talks, I believe, so just do it. All the best.
Robertson, the first time we've seen them attack them, and there's Francis! Well, that's what I wanted to see Robertson do. And still Robertson, getting his shot in, and a goal! Robertson!
Hello, welcome along to the Tricky Talks podcast as Forest clinched their first win in the Premier League since the opening day with a 3-1 win over Leeds. Here with me and with lots of smiles on their faces are Molo, Kate and Chelsea. It was good to see you yesterday, Molo. Thanks to you and Gemma for your hospitality and your bacon and sausage butties.
Healthy
or cobs,
as always.
I should say.
Yeah, healthy as always. No, always a pleasure, Simon.
Yeah, and Kate, good to see you, albeit very briefly at the end.
Yes, you too. Thought I know that face.
And Chelsea, welcome to you as well, of course. And I see you're wearing your new Garibaldi Girls T-shirt, as you are, Kate, as well, actually, because you're a model now.
I am a model. I'm putting it on my CV, so I take any bookings, only for certain things. I don't want anyone being rude, but...
Excellent stuff. Right, just a couple of bits of news before we get on to the Leeds game. Let's start with Stephen Crean, who made an appearance at the City Ground yesterday for the game and got a round of applause from everyone in attendance. He was a little bit too far away for me to see, but Molo, Kate, did you see him from where you were in the Peter Taylor stand?
Yeah, he walked right by me. Yeah. So, yeah, it was lovely to see. And I had spotted him. So he was stood with the Dementia Choir, wasn't he? He was stood next to Vicky McClure when they were singing. And it took me a minute, but I thought, ooh, I know who that is. And then he came and did his little circle. And I thought, yeah, how lovely.
Yeah, I couldn't see very clearly from where I was. But after the game, I texted him. And Gemma saw him. Gemma was sat right at the front of the family stand. And she saw him really clearly. Got a load of really good pictures. And I texted him and said, Missy's got some good pictures, do you want them? And he was chuffed to bits because obviously he can't take pictures. He's left-handed and his left hand is obviously messed up. His right hand he's only got, I think, 40% usage of at the moment. And he was chuffed to get some pictures. And then once I put a bit of a shout out to some of my other groups, sent him a few good pictures, so he's well happy. And he's had a busy day today. I don't know if you've seen where he's been today in the was it not the Hindu, the Buddhist temple?
Buddhist.
Yeah, today. So bless him, but what a legend. So I also thought impeccable what they did, amazing playing of the bugle. The whole Remembrance Day thing was brilliant.
Yeah, impeccably observed, I have to say it was, wasn't it? And the other bit of news I was going to go on to was, of course, the England squad got announced prior to the game, and a few days leading up to the game, and Elliot Anderson is in, of course, but Morgan Gibbs-White is not. Chelsea, were you surprised by that omission or not? Because he hasn't set the world alight recently. So are you surprised at that, or do you think he still deserves to be in the squad regardless?
I was a bit 50-50, to be honest. A part of me, I was quite surprised just because I thought it was a given. But also as well, when I actually sat back and thought about it, I wasn't surprised at the same time. I think the thing with Gibbs-White, I think what frustrates me the most is we all know that he is an absolutely excellent football player. We all know that. I just feel like sometimes lately, I think he tries to do the fancy stuff too much. And I think that slightly lets him down. He is a fantastic player. He's one of those players where he doesn't have to try too hard in order to be a fantastic football player. His natural ability just shines above all. And I think sometimes he was trying too hard, and that maybe set his downfall. I feel like just get out on that pitch, do what you do best in your own natural ability, and he will shine. And I think he was trying to almost go out of who he is and how he plays football in order to be better, when really he didn't need to.
No, you're right. And I know the manager came out after the game and said that he's got in the England squad once and he can do it again, can't he, Kate? There's no reason why he can't force himself back into the reckoning. Don't know how many games England have got once these qualifiers are done with in the run-up to the World Cup. There can't be too many now for England to play, so he's got to show some form between now and the next squad selection, hasn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely has. And I think the other thing that's probably impacted on it is other players becoming available, recovering from injuries. So there's a lot more competition for that spot. Although his goal on Sunday will have done him no harm in getting Tuchel's attention again, will it? So, you know.
Yeah, we'll come on to that. He's now got 2 in 3 and could have had 3 in 3 if it wasn't for the penalty miss in Graz. So, you know, it seems like he could be getting back to some sort of form. 2 brilliant headers, very similar goals actually, weren't they? So obviously we've got the international break this coming weekend, so there is no preview to discuss on the pod today. We're going to cover Liverpool in the next week's show. So given the fact that we've only got really Leeds to talk about, Kate, you do a quiz. Have you got one lined up for us this week?
Yes.
And if so, shall we do it now so that we've got then the rest of the show to kind of think of our answers? I'm springing it on you, I know. But...
That's fine. I don't think you'll need it. I've gone fairly easy on you. I thought, do you know what? We're in this lovely state of winning feeling, aren't we? So I didn't want to tax anybody too much. And also, I don't know about Mollo, but it's all caught up with me today, the last week. And I am absolutely exhausted. So I don't think I could make my brain work very hard. But yes, I have a quiz. Here we go. So, who scored for Forest in the playoff semi-final second leg at the City Ground on the season we got promoted?
Okay.
Do you need a minute, or do you just want to go straight in?
That should be fair. Do you mean the penalties or the goal during the game?
No, the goal in open play.
Yep, okay, yeah, know that one. Right, we'll revisit that one at the end. So let's get on to Leeds then. So how does it feel to get a win, Mollo? Because it was long overdue since the opening day when they destroyed Brentford. It's about time. It's come along. Sean Dyche seems to be turning things around, doesn't he? What were you feeling at the final whistle? Relief? Joy?
I think the relief turned to joy on that third goal, didn't it? You could almost feel the outlet of the atmosphere was a little bit tense at times. For both sets of fans, Leeds fans are normally really noisy, and they were a bit underwhelming as well compared to normal. So just relief to start with, joy. I think you step back and look at it. The defence is looking tight. 5 games, 2 wins, 2 draws. The singular defeat at Bournemouth where we were dreadful. I think that's the kind of form that moves you up the table gradually, not necessarily instantly, if that makes sense. And we're back in touch. So, yeah, I was very, very happy after the game, as you saw. Very, very happy.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a good walk back to the car and drive back to yours. Yeah. Reminiscing about school days and obviously a Forest win for the first time in a long while.
Since I had a suntan and had to wear a t-shirt and shorts to games, I was more worried about skin cancer and getting a cold and cough. So yeah, since we last won in the league, but yeah.
Seems an age ago, but they're on the right track, aren't they? Chelsea, now, as Mollo said, the last 5 games are 1-2, drawn 2, lost 1. Dyche is getting it right, isn't he? And you can see it on the pitch, can't you, with that performance? They just look solid, look better. I don't think they've lost anything going forwards either, have they?
Yeah, that's the thing. I remember saying it in the last pod. It just felt like Dyche is not only having to build and work with a team, but he's also having to undo all of what Ange did. I do feel like we do look more solid. I think we defended well apart from the goal, but let's skip over that. But yeah, I do feel like the energy, I still go back to that Brentford game because I am comparing us to how we played at Brentford because I know that we can play like that. The energy still wasn't up at that level, but as a school report would say, could have done better, but still absolutely buzzing with that win. I think that we all needed it. So, yeah, well, for fans and for players as well.
All the regulars came back into the team, didn't they, Kate? So I don't think there were any particular surprises from your perspective. Were you aligned with that team selection this week? Would you have started any other players, or were you fairly happy when you saw the lineup?
I was fairly happy when I saw the lineup. I was disappointed that Yates wasn't starting because I did think he might. Sangare always makes me a little bit uncomfortable, although I do accept that he seems to pair very well with Dominguez. That seems to be what's coming out of this performance in particular. And obviously, he went and scored his goal, so, not got a bad word to say about him now. Well done, that man. But my goodness me, I have to say, I found that game incredibly stressful throughout. I was struggling with the bitty, niggly element of it so much. And it's not that I wasn't expecting it, because I knew that's how it was going to be. But I think until I actually got into the ground, I didn't realise how much I wanted those 3 points. We'd spoken about it on the pod. We've heard it said, it's a must-win game, it's a must-win game. And then I sat down in my seat and I was like that. Oh my God, it's a must-win game. And I was very, very anxious and on edge throughout. And not until that third goal went in did I finally relax and go, oh my God. Then I was all good. There's only about 6 minutes left then. So by that point, it was just, like you've said, incredible relief. And I've done a mollo and I've watched it back. And now I'm able to see all the positives, all the good work that they did, and where we were solid, and where it was my anxiety that was making me see some of the stuff in maybe a slightly negative light. But actually, on a watch back, it was a very solid performance and definitely seeing lots of progress, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that. Actually, you've had time to see the goals and the highlights. Let's go back and talk about the first two goals, because they were right close to each other. Obviously, Leeds went in front. I've seen the goals, but I've not seen the whole game back. And obviously, Chelsea, did you watch it on TV?
I've seen the highlights, but I managed to catch the last 30 minutes of it because I was at work.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about the first two goals then. Obviously, Leeds took the lead. And did you get the sense that it was déjà vu and here we go again? Thankfully, it didn't take Forest too long to equalise, 2 minutes and 17 seconds to be precise. But what were your thoughts when that Leeds first goal went in?
For me,
Mollo?
It was how we started so well. We had good pressure. We tested their keeper a few times, and he was starting to look quite shaky. And then it was the sucker punch, wasn't it? And it's that thing of compounding errors. The first error was Sangare did some weird clearance that looped over his head up into the air across the pitch, which gave Longstaff the run on Anderson. So he won the header. But even then, you thought, that's okay, it's under control, Savona's going to clear it. But he didn't. He was almost like the only reason I've watched it and I've slowed it down, and I'm convinced he was unaware he had a player on his left shoulder there. It just, because he came round from nowhere in a sense. And because it was an easy clearance, an easy tackle to win, but he just seemed unaware that somebody was coming to win it. And then obviously it was a really sharp finish, and I just thought, I can't believe this. This is a real test. But like always, you kind of look into the past and what's gone before, and I thought, well, a week or so ago, the same thing happened with Man United where we were doing okay. And sure enough, when we came straight back, I thought, it's a lovely goal as well. I can't believe the criticism on Reed, and I'm sure we'll get to that, of Undoy. Yes, he faded at the end because he'd worked his absolute socks off, and he had a couple of poor balls near the end when he was knackered, and then Daichi swapped him anyway. He was running everywhere, and that first goal, the little clip pass from Milenkovic, the work between Undoy and that out wide, and then the way he was calm as anything when he put the ball in. The keeper slapped it as he kept doing, and fair play, Sangare, who was competent for most of the game. He was really lucky not to be sent off. My God, if that Longstaff had gone down, we'd have been playing most of the game with 10 men, wouldn't we? But anyway, he wasn't. He put the ball away, and fair play to him. For 10 minutes after that goal, he looked like the player we all wished we'd had, didn't he? For those 10 minutes, that confidence, that lift, I thought, could this be the turning point? We've got the Sangara we all hoped we'd have. But obviously it only lasted 10 minutes or so, and then he was back to sort of where you're biting your nails thinking, oh, don't lose it. And that's a bit harsh because he had a solid game. But yeah, at 1-1 at half-time, we were saying the same things. This isn't Chelsea where we've missed chances and thinking, oh no, this is a very poor, in terms of Premier League, Leeds side. Second half should go our way. And obviously the rest is, we saw what happened.
Yeah, let's talk a bit about Sangare then, because, it was an easy goal for him to score. If he'd have not scored that, then he was never going to score, is he? But
Simon, I've seen you miss one or two of them in your time, so it's never easy to score. And he missed an identical one on his debut against Luton that would have put us 3-0 up. And then we ended up drawing 2-2.
I can't believe you remember my misses all those years ago.
I remember some goals, don't worry.
Yeah, but it's good that he got off the mark anyway to open his account. And Mono was right, actually. Chelsea was pretty good for the next 10 minutes, and I could see it. He had sort of a bit of a swagger around him. And I've seen a lot of comment on social media today about how well he played and how well he's been playing, but I still think there's more to come. I still think that was a bit of an overreaction on their part in terms of saying how well he's playing. He's not doing bad, don't get me wrong, but I think there is plenty more to come, isn't there, Chelsea?
Yeah, I think with Sangare, he's a bit like Marmite for the Forest fans, isn't he? You either like him or you just absolutely don't. I do feel like from what I did see in bits of the game when I've been looking online, I did feel like he did play well. And, I mean, with those long legs of his, he reminds me a bit like Viv Anderson, when they used to call him Spider. He just reminds me, he's just so gangly, isn't he? But Sangare, he's one of them people where, one of them players where I just feel like I want him to do well, and I think we all want him to do well. And like you said, Simon, maybe this is the turning point for Sangare. We hope. We have lots of fingers and toes crossed. But we'll just see whether he gets many more minutes or not. Like a bit like Kate said, you preferred Yatesy to start. But we'll see as the season goes on, really.
Obviously, we then got into the second half. Half-time came and went, and the triple substitution made in the 59th minute, I think, arguably turned the game, didn't it? I was sat there with Danny, and we were talking about, we could see the players warming up, and we actually called the 3 subs correctly. We were spot on, and I think it was fairly straightforward to make those changes. But they made an instant impact, didn't they? It was the moment they came on, there was Hutchinson gave a bit of energy down the right, and Yates gave that bite in midfield, and it was the other one, and Awonyi came up front and was putting himself about and being a bit of a nuisance, which arguably Jesus wasn't. I still think he's adapting to life in the Premier League, to be honest, but Awonyi's a proven a striker at that level. So it was great how they noticeably made a difference to the team straight away, Kate, didn't they? And it resulted in 2 second-half goals. What were your thoughts? Did you think the same when they came on?
I did, and I think it was much needed because it had gone flat. It had gone flat, and there were some players starting to look tired, and, not just Ndoye. Quite a few of them had started. They just started to lose it a bit, and I thought, no. And when we saw those substitutions come on, it felt like the right choices. They felt like the people that I wanted to see, and then there they were, and yeah, fantastic. I mean, Yates, yes, absolutely, came in and did Yates's job, as we've said before. Love that guy. Always happy to see him on the pitch, and we do play better when Yates is on the pitch. We just do. And we did. And I'm loving Taiwo's physicality, which, is lacking in maybe a bit in Jesus and maybe a bit still in Ndoye. But you're loving his physicality. And then, of course, Amari Hutchinson comes on and gives us that performance that we've all been talking about and all been waiting for. And it was an absolute game changer. And it gave us the win. It gave us a convincing end to, like I say, a niggly game, which we then took control of, and we won, and we won well. So, yeah, that's what we need to be talking about and celebrating, because that was absolutely brilliant.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du Norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Tonight's meal, tilapia surprise with boiled cabbage. Begin cooking steps 1 through 50 now.
Are you kidding me? Making dinner shouldn't feel like doing a 1,000-piece puzzle. With Blue Apron's new one-pan assemble and bake meals, the hard part's already done. Pre-chopped ingredients, zero stress. Just assemble, bake, and enjoy. No complicated steps, no mountain of dishes. Try Assemble and Bake today. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
Makes you wonder, Hutchinson has obviously played only a limited role so far. He's not yet to make a start in the Premier League, and obviously doesn't play in the Europa League. Liverpool's up next, and we'll touch on that very briefly at the end of the show. We'll do a proper Liverpool preview next week, as I said, but makes you wonder now whether he's worthy of a start, given the fact that Ndoye and Hudson-Odoi are the likely 2 first-choice wingers. And we don't yet know whether Hudson-Odoi is going to be fit for Liverpool. But would you start him, Molo, if circumstances dictated Hutchinson is going to, whether circumstances meant that he was going to be part of that first 11, or is Liverpool away not the right time to bring him in, do you think?
I think you've said it there. Liverpool away is not the right time to start him, and that's nothing against Hutchinson. If you play 2 wingers against Liverpool, assuming Hudson-Odoi is fit by then, you're asking for trouble. I think of the way Elanga was gradually dropped into the team. I don't for a minute think he's going to be a super sub long term. That's not my thinking. I'm not like... Football's changed a little. You know, it's still the same game. Everything else is the same. But there are people that affect things from the bench, and you need them to have that effect. And for me, at the moment, Hutchinson's that guy going against tired legs, because I know you're going to see people going, "Oh, he should have started," but that doesn't do credit for what work went. For what work, good English there, for the work that was put in by the other players, including Dominguez, who had a really neat and tidy game and held up a side for us to make sure, because they had some serious pace on that side as well, didn't they? Now, Hutchinson's more of an old-fashioned winger. He's not going to necessarily track back as much as the others do at the moment. And there is definitely going to be a place for him at times. And for me, I know our back 5 picks itself at the minute. They should never have a set. You want a set and first 11, but no one should be guaranteed a place. But he is most certainly should be in the thinking for starting games, particularly at home, and particularly once we get that Liverpool game out of the way. And he's the sort of guy, you only have to, I know we're going to all look at last season. We played with 4 central midfielders, brought on the 2 wingers, and they got won us a game. And after 52 years away, wouldn't it be lovely to have lightning strike twice and something similar happen? But I think Ndoye at the moment is certainly Dyche's man, because his work rate is phenomenal. He ran himself into the ground. Yes, he sometimes shows a lack of strength, less so than before, but more when he was tired just before he went off. And also, the quality he's got on the ball, I can't believe some people can't see it. I've made a bold prediction last night on another show saying a year from now, we're going to be saying, I can't believe a year ago people were doubting Ndoye. Or we're going to be saying, I hope no one comes and gets him in January. Because he's that rare thing, isn't he? He's 2-footed. He's really quick. And we haven't seen the best of that yet. He doesn't seem to show it as much yet. I'll use the word yet because it's going to come. He's got to, because he's rapid. So I think he's got all the tools, and he's acclimatising, he's getting better incrementally. He's not going to go from struggling a little bit to being world class is he overnight or anything, but he's getting there. And going back to your original question, I think Hutchinson for me has to be now your first thought in your head when you're trying to change the game at this stage. He shouldn't be sat on the bench for 90 minutes. He definitely shouldn't be left out of any future squads. He's earned his place now, and I'm really hoping this kickstarts his Forest career, because although he's not the quickest, he's got unbelievably quick feet. And he made, I know that it was a weird substitution they made, bringing on a left winger to play left back, but he absolutely rinsed him inside out, didn't he? And got him to give away a penalty and whatnot. So going forward, he's definitely going to be a part of our squad and hopefully a very important part of our team for years to come. If he can replicate that kind of form over 90 minutes, that'd be sensational, to be fair. If he could put in 2 assists like that every game, we'll be very happy, of course.
Yeah, go on, Chelsea.
No, I was literally just going to say, does everyone see him as more of an impact player rather than a star?
Just for the time being. I think he's going to be
for the time being, yeah.
I think his first start needs to be a home game. If that makes sense. See where we go from there.
Yeah, no, because when I was watching him yesterday, it was almost like, because he's such a direct player and he can drive the ball forward. And the way he whips that cross in, I just can't help but think that when Chris Wood is back and on top form, can you imagine him being on the end of them crosses?
He was. He missed one against Sunderland, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, of course he did. Oh, God.
Sorry,
yeah, brilliant.
sorry. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Clicked. I was like, oh, yeah.
You're absolutely right. That's the sort of service, well, to be fair, any striker would thrive on. And Gibbs White.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The frustrating thing for me is where he should have started was Thursday night. That's where he should have started. That is where he changes a game and he changes a result in Europe. And obviously we can't do that because he isn't in that squad. But for me, that's where he should be getting his starts, and it's frustrating that he can't do. And I agree, Liverpool isn't the game, but I love that he is knocking on the door just from really, and saying, all right, boss, remember me, and it's coming, isn't it? If he keeps playing like that, it's coming.
Yeah, I was reading today, Sean Dyche has had a chat with him and a conversation, and he said, keep working hard as you have been doing, your time is coming. So it's good to know that he's on the radar of the manager. Perhaps he wasn't on the radar of the previous managers. But yeah, I look forward to seeing the impact he can make, certainly long term. And it was a great cross for Morgan Gibbs-White to flick in. And that's, like I said earlier, it's 2 uncanny goals for Gibbs-White now, both very, very similar in stature. But what a cross that was from Hutchinson. And just the tonic Gibbs-White needed after his penalty miss, Mollo, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think even if you take the goal out of it, he played really, really well. So all these... the people out there saying, "Oh, he should be dropped. He should be dropped." He showed why he shouldn't be dropped, even without the goal. He played really, really well.
Yeah, and we've said all along, haven't we, on this show that Morgan Gibbs-White should be playing week in, week out to recapture that form because he can't get back to form sat on the bench. And I'm thinking now that his omission from the England squad can act as a motivation as well. If there's a squad he wants to get in, it's that World Cup squad. And thankfully, he's still got plenty of time to get back in the England squad if he can maintain a good run of form between now and the end of the season. And I think that will give him the motivation. And he looked decent, didn't he, Chelsea, on Sunday?
Who, Gibbs-White?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he did. Again, it's just going back to that. Sometimes I do think that he does try too hard. Sometimes he doesn't have to. He is such a fantastic number 10. And I just felt like, I don't know whether, I feel like this was even before Ange. I did feel like he did have a bit of a confidence knock. I don't know whether it was personal reasons or not. I'm not sure. But I personally hope that he does get back into the England squad. He's got the want, he has got the drive, and he does deserve to be there. I mean, we are lucky that we have got Anderson still in there, but only time will tell, really. He's got the talent. He just needs to allow himself to be like that.
Let's move on to the penalty.
Answer, though, wasn't it? Certainly a good answer to being omitted. Was playing as well as he did.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what you want to see. Let's move on to the third goal then, and it was a Stonewall penalty. I'm not sure why VAR thought there was a need to review it, but maybe that's what they need to do these days. The ref got it right. It was interesting that it was Anderson that took it. I think from where I could see, he was there straight away, wasn't he, Kate? I know you were quite close to that as well. He wanted it, didn't he, straight away? He was storming up there to get that ball. He wanted that penalty, didn't he?
He did. There was a minute there that I thought it was going to be Nico that was taking it, my man. And I was saying that to my boys, is it going to be Nico? Is it going to be Nico? But no, he was very clear and he put that ball down and he was like, this one is mine. And unlike the penalty on Thursday where I did have a bit of a feeling that it wasn't going to go in. You knew he was scoring that. You knew he was burying it. I think everybody in the ground knew he was burying that, and then he absolutely did. And that is when the volume went up to max in the City ground, wasn't it? Because it had been subdued, I think, at times. And you could feel the tension and the nerves that when that hit the back of the net, that was it. It was an absolute roar. And yeah, great penalty. Such a good penalty. Yeah.
Confident one.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I was just going to say, Thomas Tuchel has advised Morgan Gibbs-White never to take another penalty again. And I'm wondering now whether Anderson is superseding him in the... Chris Wood's going to be the penalty taker, isn't he, when he's on the pitch? Igor Jesus has obviously demonstrated he can score from the spot. I do now wonder if Anderson has superseded Gibbs-White in that penalty order. But we know they can all take good penalties anyway, don't we? Because we saw it last season in the various penalty shootouts that they had, and they're all very, very good. So I have confidence in whoever steps up to take a penalty is going to, they're pretty experienced with that sort of stuff. So you know that they're going to hit the target and make it difficult for the keeper. And Anderson certainly did that all right, didn't he? And is that his first goal of the season as well? Yeah. Has he scored this season?
Yeah, it's his first goal, isn't it?
Yeah, so, yeah, Sangare and Anderson both off the mark. And like we said earlier, you could feel the relief, couldn't you, Mollo, when then that went in, because you knew the 3 points were in the bag. But were you at any point concerned up to that point? I know in the last pod that you missed, unfortunately, I'd predicted Forest would go 2-0 up, Leeds would pull one back, and then it would be backs to the wall, panic stations for injury time. It didn't quite turn out that way, but were you concerned at 2-1? Because I was fairly confident. I didn't see a threat from Leeds much at all. I think
was that super fast left winger, wasn't it? And James can do a bit sometimes. So apart from his long range shot that Sells did a really simple camera save to that looked really good at the time. I thought it was world class. When I saw it back to down, like, okay, probably could have stepped across and caught it almost, but doing him a disservice. No, I never ever felt in trouble. I think the one thing when we've been talking about this relegation fight that's very different from that first season is we've got a top quality back four that's now close to being there. Of course, we're missing Aina, but Savona's not doing too bad and he's growing. But the other three are shoo-ins for most defences in the country. It's just making sure we can do enough to find the goals. My priority yesterday was get a clean sheet, and when they scored, I was like, oh no. But other than that, they never looked like scoring, did they? Ever. No, even from corners.
Yeah. That's the next thing, isn't it? That's the next step, isn't it? Get that clean sheet under your belt. And obviously it's Liverpool away, which is all we know is going to be difficult. The expectations clearly are going to be low for that game, I think, and quite rightly so. But spoiler alert, I've actually predicted us to win that game in the podcast prediction league. So,
Simon,
and I've stuck to my guns.
You go for high
convinced.
Stakes.
Yeah,
high risk, high stakes.
So we're currently bottom of the podcast prediction league as a podcast overall, probably because we joined a week late than everybody else.
We'll go with that.
We need to catch up. So we need those out of the box type of results that we can benefit from that nobody else thinks we're going to do, and that's partly why I've gone for a Forest win at Liverpool.
I can't imagine us getting any points from a Liverpool. Us to win against Liverpool for Simon. Dear.
Well, I ended up predicting a flipping draw for Leeds, and I was absolutely sure that I'd predicted a win. And then when he posted it earlier, I was like, why haven't I got any points? And I went back and I was like, oh, hopeless.
My superstitions have kicked in again, because for the first part of the season I was trying to predict what I thought the score would really be. Now I'm just predicting us to lose every game, because that's the way to stop us losing.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Not quite that bad, but I did let on, didn't I, when I was round yours, Mollo, that I was wearing my new Lucky boxers.
Yes.
And Danny was horrified.
Danny's
that actually
one-liner. Danny goes,
yeah.
Don't show Jay.
Do you know what? I was about to ask, did Mollo get a preview of them, but no.
Everyone did, because I pulled them slightly above my belt so that I could prove they were new Lucky boxers.
Wow.
Poor old Danny.
Kate's face. So they're undefeated. So I might send them in the post to you, Mollo, so you can stick them on a flag and wave them at Anfield.
Make sure they're clean first, though, Simon.
Yeah, thanks,
they lose
Chelsea.
their magic.
What are you saying?
Chelsea, you're not very good at this lucky pants thing. They lose their magic if you wash them. Do you not know that?
Sorry.
Wash out all the magic.
Well, there's the title of the podcast, isn't it? Something to do with lucky pants going to Anfield, whatever. But just going back to the league table then, obviously it's still in the relegation zone, but it's looking mighty better now with Forest up there on 9, 1 point behind West Ham and Burnley, 2 behind Leeds and Fulham, 3 behind Newcastle, who are down in 14th, and they're suffering from a Champions League hangover by all accounts. So those teams are the next ones to target, aren't they, Mollo?
Oh, I received on one of the groups I'm on today, someone said, "Are you all aware we're only 9 points off Europe?" That's optimism. I love that. The Deitch factor.
Yeah, I had an appalling start to the FPL this year, and I'm now flying, and I'm near the. I know you're still ahead of me, Mollo, and Danny is as well, but I'm near the top now, and it just shows you a few good weeks could completely turn your season around. So Forest can do the same, of course.
That's what I'm hoping with my FPL.
Yeah. Right, let's go on to Mollo's moment then. Plenty to choose from, I suspect, but what have you gone for this week?
For once, there are plenty to choose from, but it has to be...
Seeing my boxes, probably.
That's it. No, you've got obviously the goals to choose from, the pre-match stuff, but it has to be the equaliser because having played not so well, but reasonably well and dominated Leeds, them to get that sucker punch goal, it's like, not Sunderland all over again. But actually, to get the goal back so quick was such a relief. And as probably, I'm actually not his biggest critic, but as somebody that's very unsure about the merits of Mr. Sangare, it's only fair I give him Mollo's moment, Sangare's goal, the equal, everything it meant at that point in the game. Plenty of time to go on and win it. Got back into a game we didn't actually deserve to be behind on the balance of play. However, if you defend like that, there's only one thing going to happen. So it has to be that, doesn't it, really, for me? Because it just...
Yeah.
It took the wind out of Leeds' sails. They didn't have time to set up and bring on 10 centre-backs the way Sunderland did and leave Sangare stood on the halfway line with the centre-backs passing it around. It meant the game hadn't settled down into a new structure by the time we scored. It was perfect timing, really, because the scrappiness of the game would have suited them rather than us at that point.
That game away at West Ham early in the new year is looking quite tasty now, isn't it? With multiple things riding on that. Obviously, both teams down the bottom, but it's Nuno versus Forest, Forest versus Nuno, and you do get the sense West Ham are improving a little bit, don't you? But nevertheless, they're still down there. Burnley, I think, are going to struggle, and I think Leeds will struggle as well. So they're the two that I think will follow Wolves at the moment into the
You think Wolves are
Championship,
gone?
But yeah, I think so. 2 points there. They're already 8 behind safety already. I don't get, we were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? I don't get the appointment of Rob Edwards. I don't see, he did all right with Luton and Middlesbrough, but I don't see him getting the best out of Wolves and keeping them up. I just think it's too much for a manager like Rob Edwards. But we shall see. Right, man of the matches. We'll start with you, Chelsea. Who are you going for this week?
I'm going to go with Amari Hutchinson. And I am going to do a public apology for when we first signed him and that I said, no, he's not worth 37 or however much he was. And I said, yep, I'm going to be his biggest critic. And I did go off on my soapbox for a little bit, but we won't talk too much about that. So I would just like to apologise because I just thought he played absolutely fantastic. He definitely, to me, is an impact player. He drives the ball forward. It's lovely not to see him passing back at any opportunity, always wanting to push forward. And I just thought he done exceptionally well. So, Amari Hutchinson for me.
So I know we know Kate's favourite player is Nico Williams. I thought Hutchinson was on the same level as Nico for you, Chelsea, in terms of him being your favourite player, much like Sangare is Mollo's favourite player.
Yeah.
It's 2 years.
You just need to figure out yours, Simon.
2 years of defending Sangare and saying he's clearly a very good player in there because he's shown us flashes, and we're still waiting. Sorry.
Keep waiting, Mollo.
Yeah, for the record, Murillo's my favourite player at the moment. And I play football on a Friday night, and we've just, the team I play for, this seven-a-side stuff, and we've just won the league, and so we're playing the first game of a new season last Friday, and I ended up playing at centre-back, and I've never played centre-back in my life, as you well know, Mollo. And you're laughing for a reason.
I've never seen you tackle anyone ever.
No, so bearing in mind, I played 2 games on Friday night, both at centre-back. I didn't make one header, didn't make one tackle, but was playing like Murillo in terms of showing the ball skills, dribbling past attackers, pinging the ball out to the wing. And I know that the rest of the team said how well I was doing, and I can look forward to playing there again. I thought, no way am I playing centre-back again.
Did you not do a clearance off the line?
No, I didn't, actually.
And you call yourself Murillo?
Yeah. But anyway, Kate, your man of the match, please.
So I'm going to go for Anderson. And I'm always tempted to go Nico, and I do still think he had a really good game. But I'm going to go for Anderson. I have thought about this. It takes a lot for me to deviate from Nico.
It does.
But 90-odd minute performance from Anderson, and he did everything, and he added a goal to his game. And just imagine if he starts to do that on a regular basis. So for that reason, I am going for Anderson as my man of the match.
Yeah, good choice.
Poor
good
Nico
choice.
Williams.
It's a winner.
Right, Mollo,
Poor Nico Williams.
yours?
I can hear him crying.
Well, I think lots of players had decent games, but I don't think anyone stood out massively, if that makes sense. You weren't looking at it and going, oh my... They're like Brentford. There was like 7 or 8 players that were just absolutely outstanding, 9 out of 10 or whatever. I thought lots of players had decent games, really decent games. And that's what wins you games, when enough of them do. And you could name lots of players, including Nico, I thought was superb, apart from for the goal. But for me, and again, I can see where everyone's gone, but the guy that did it for us, keeping the back door shut, is Murillo. And Milenkovic was not far behind, to be fair. The two of them, that partnership's back in sync. And that's what wins you games, solid defence. I thought I could see the shot. Anderson's stats were brilliant. Someone else had... Undoy's stats were really impressive, even though it didn't feel like it, because having watched it back, he was really good. It was just that little bit before he went off when he was knackered. So, but yeah, I think Murillo, I mean, that pass. How many centre-halves in the country can do that? In the world, never mind the country, can do that. And fair play, Hutchinson managed to just about control it at the second attempt and then that crossing. So, and defensively, Murillo was absolutely mustard, as was Milenkovic, as was Nico, as was Savona, had a tough job on, to be fair. So, I'm going Murillo. He's back.
Yeah, Milenkovic was mustard, to quote you, and he got the sponsors man of the match, but he nearly did his mistake in the first half where. And obviously, Kate and I had a better view of it than you, Mollo, because you're at the other end, and Chelsea may have seen it on the TV. I don't even know if it was shown on the highlights, but he was trying to shepherd the ball out for a goal kick. Then suddenly realised he wasn't sure whether it would have been a goal kick, so he went to clear it out for a throw. Only he got caught in 2 minds, did nothing, and he just literally trapped the ball with his leg and fell over, and it nearly let Leeds in for a chance. Thankfully, nothing happened with it. It was almost like I couldn't understand why a professional footballer just got caught under his own feet, because it was just a simple thing to, if in doubt, put it out kind of thing. That's what you taught as a kid, isn't it? And he did neither.
2 minds, isn't it?
Yeah, he was. He was in 2 minds, I think.
What I will say for him, though, in the second half, that run that guy made when he ripped down the left-hand side and cut inside Savona, he took up a position and the cutback came and he just was there waiting for it as if he'd known all day long it was going to be there. So I know where he's coming from, but I thought that kind of made up for it. Yeah, the problem is when you're a defender, if you make a mistake, it can be very costly, can't it? As Savona found out.
Yeah.
But that it's good to know that our back line is looking stronger again. Although Sells was very shaky, very worrying with the ball.
Shaky Sells, right? I'm going to go for my man of the match. I'm going to give it to Gibbs White, because with the news he wasn't in the England squad, he needed to prove something. And like you, Mollo, I don't think there was one player who stood head and shoulders above everybody else, but he did play well. He did seem with it and at it. He did want it, and he got rewarded with a goal. And I don't know whether you guys noticed, but his goal was after 67 minutes. And he ran off the other end towards Hutchinson, quite rightly so, to congratulate him on a cross. And Kate's shaking her head because she knows what's coming, I suspect, and Mollo does as well. But all the stewards came out and stood in front of the lower Trent end where I was. And I was looking around going, who's doing 6-7, 6-7? Because it was after 67 minutes and nobody was doing it at all. And the stewards looking at, nobody caught my eye doing it. Even the stewards were as miserable as anything, I have to say. Didn't even smirk at this grown man doing 6-7. I thought, I'm never doing that again.
What is that? Because I keep hearing all about it. And I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, if you're a 12-year-old boy, Chelsea, you probably do it all the time. But
right. And no, I'm not.
Just go on Instagram and search for 6-7 and you'll find all sorts of clips. You see clips in the US of basketball and somebody gets a basket to put the team on 67 points and they go absolutely mental going 6-7, 6-7.
It sounds stupid, don't it?
Yeah. We won't be doing it anymore on this pod. If anyone does it, they're banned from now on.
Okay.
Right, so that's Leeds done then. Let's do an FPL update, shall we, Chelsea, if you've got one for us this week, please?
Yes, I have. So, let's have a little look. So, Mollo, you're shaking your head, and I know why.
Penalties, man. Penalties. How hard is it to score a penalty? My guys.
I would just like to say the reason why Mollo is angry is because he's got 41 points this week, people. But to be fair, Mollo, you're in 7th place. You're beating us all.
Yeah, but there's two missed penalties on my team sheet.
Yeah, you know what the good news is, though? Everyone else has those players in their team as well. So you're not the only ones to miss out. Everybody else misses out as well.
Yeah. And then closely followed behind you, Mollo, is Simon in 8th place with 43 points this week. And then we've got a bit of a chunk in between. And
quite a big chunk.
Quite a big chunk. And I'm in 17th place with 44 points. I would just like to say that I took Doku out because he was playing not very well. And then he ends up scoring. So the reason why he scored is because I took him out. So if anyone's got him in his team, you're very welcome. And then, weirdly, Kate, you are just behind me in 18th. And you also got 44 points.
Yeah.
So, again, we're quite similar with points. All in the 40s.
Point, I put Anderson on my bench as well. Like 2 penalty misses and 1 penalty scored in one day in my squad in the wrong place. Never mind.
And I did notice as well that we've all got Semenyo in our team, who scored a big fat 0 for all of us. So yeah, but anyway, there's always after the international break. And I would just like to say as well, just who is in first place. We've got Gareth Parry, who scored only 50 points, but he's still way ahead with 693 points overall. And then I am going to say it again, the Penguin League at the bottom, Josh Mines, your lovely nephew, and I know he loves us saying his name on here. He is at the bottom with 34 points that he's scored this week. Is anyone going to make any changes at all?
Yeah, so it's way too early for that. Who've you brought in then? What's change you made?
I can't remember now. I think I had a Chelsea defender, that young lad, because he was cheap, who's no longer playing. So I got rid of him and brought in a midfielder. I can't think who it was. But I've got 2 changes available, so I'm waiting until the international break is over, because if any of them play for New Zealand, for instance, they always get injured. So I'm going to wait and see who comes back fit and healthy, and also I might tweak one of someone that doesn't go on the international break that needs to play and will definitely start a game, sort of thing. We'll see.
Well, also as well, I'm hoping that Simon, with him putting that Forest going to win against Liverpool, I hope you're putting a Forest defender or centre back in, Simon.
No, I don't. No, I tend to stay away from Forest players for FPL because, as we've said before, if I put them in, that'll jinx them. So
yeah,
Tarkovsky, that's who I brought in. Just remembered.
So I took out Gyökeres before the weekend and replaced him with Thiago of Brentford, who top scored for me with 13 points. That was a really good transfer that I was pleased I made in the end. But did you know, I read somewhere that those 2 penalty misses by Haaland and Semenyo Semenyo was a 25-point swing. So your scores could have been 25 points better off if those 2 penalties would have gone in, because not only would you have got the goals, you'd have got the bonus points as well, and that would have offset the penalty miss points that you lost. So 25-point swing. Now, it probably wouldn't have made much difference to your overall league positions, because everybody who's at the top has those players. It's just an interesting tidbit that small margins could lead to big consequences, can't they? But my next transfer is going to be Reinders is going to go. I'm going to replace him with either Sarr or Mbeumo. I'm not sure which yet. I'm going to wait for that international break.
Yeah, I've had him in from
so I'm going to be doubling up in the Man United midfield, because I've already got Fernandes as well. So I'm not sure yet. I'll wait and see what happens over the break. Kate, any changes planned by you?
Bizarrely, given my league position with what I've got, I mean, it was a shocker of a week, wasn't it? You know, like I ummed and ahed whether to captain Rice. I'm very, very glad I didn't do that. I ummed and ahed about whether or not to have Anderson in or bench him. I'm very glad I had him in. I did captain Haaland. I kept João Pedro, and I remember you saying, Simon, that you'd got rid of him. Now he's going to score, and he has scored the last 2 weeks. So. Yeah, I think he would have been my best bet possibly to captain, but I didn't. I'd captain Haaland, so I might do. I'm going to wait till the international break's over, and then I'll have another look. Maybe a goalkeeper, because Pope's my goalkeeper at the moment.
Nico.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But yeah, on the whole, despite it being a bit of a rubbish week, I'm reasonably happy with my team.
But I will just say, Kate, even though they are beating us, but you know, it's a long season, so we'll just bear that in mind.
Marathon.
It is a long season, absolutely. Thanks for that, Chelsea. Much appreciated. Right, Kate, the quiz. We're coming to the end of the show. Let's do the quiz again.
Okay, so who scored in the playoff semi-final second leg at the City Ground to on obviously our promotion season? So go on then, who we got? Chelsea, go on, you go.
Well, no, again, memory of a goldfish over here who just can't remember anything. It was at Johnson.
Yeah.
It was. And he's been all over social media, hasn't he, this week? Somebody interviewed him about his favourite ever goal, and it was a Forest goal, and he stood there in his Spurs kit with this, interviewed by Spurs TV talking about this goal he scored for Forest, which I bloody loved.
He said his best goal he'd ever seen as well was Lewis McGugan's.
Yeah, it was, best goal he's ever seen. Don't forget when that goal went in, he was a little kid. Johnson would have been a kid,
and his dad
he'd have been watching Forest with it. And if his dad was playing as well, so that's why it's the best goal he's ever seen. And it was a terrific free kick, wasn't it?
Oh right, okay, so I've got that wrong. But anyway, I liked it because he was talking about Forest wearing his Spurs kit, so it made me happy. So I thought I'd stick a question in about our Brennan today, and yes, absolutely, it was Brennan Johnson that scored that goal.
Yeah, can we all just celebrate?
Who got sent off as well, didn't he?
Oh,
was it in the Champions League? He got sent off.
He did. Yeah. Yes, he did.
Who scored in the away leg?
Can we all just celebrate the fact that I just got my first question right?
Yay!
Thank you very much. Yay! Come on.
You said who scored in the away leg. It was Johnson and Jack Colback, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Jack Colback, yeah.
That Jack Colback goal, my head nearly exploded. That put us 2-0 up, didn't it? And it was like a rebound. He just took it so well, didn't he? And, all the memories.
Yeah, when that goal went in to put us 2-0 up, I was having flashbacks of the old playoff semi-final leg at Bramall Lane back in the day. I was there for that one. On that, just brought bad memories back that time.
Was it Gibbs White that scored for Sheffield?
No, it was Jack. Was it Jack Robinson who scored for Sheffield?
No, it was. It was a header, wasn't it?
It was Gibbs White, wasn't it?
I thought it wasn't.
No.
Oh.
No, was it Berger?
I think it might be Sander Berg.
Yeah.
It was a scrappy, rubbishy, cornery type
it
goal
was.
where
it was.
Sandra had a moment, didn't he?
Yeah. Right, we've gone on long enough, guys. Let's go through any other B. Chelsea, start with you. Any other business?
I would just like to say Garibaldi girls t-shirt. I just wanted, which Kate is also wearing as well. Model as well over here to Kate. I just wanted to give a little bit more information about it. So, the Garibaldi girls, we have done a collaboration with Tricky Tees, where you can now buy your own Garibaldi girls t-shirts. They are available to buy now. And what I would like to say is that we actually don't keep none of the profits, and we are donating them to our amazing charity partner, which is the Nottingham Women's Centre. And what we're actually aiming to raise is 16,000 this season. And we're really wanting to achieve this because we really want to allow Nottingham Women's Centre to be able to have a part-time counsellor for a year. So that's what we're aiming for, to pay for their salary. So yeah, it's for a really great cause. Go and buy your Garibaldi Girl t-shirts. A lot of love has gone into this. So, yes, that is my little...
Great stuff. Thanks, Chelsea. So, Mollo, as it's Garibaldi Girls and your daughter was the founder, are you an honorary member, and does that make you a Baldy boy?
I'm not a member, although sometimes I feel I might as well be, the amount of stuff I end up having to do for it in the past. I do have an oversight from a legal and financial perspective to make sure everything is covered and, what's the word, present and correct, and every box is crossed and is dotted and T is crossed to make sure no mistakes are made. So that's basically, I'll just let them get on with what the fantastic cause they've gone for and whatnot. No doubt I'll be roped into doing something at some point to help raise some more money. If they get near the target and there's times coming up and they want it done by, I'm sure I'll be doing something stupid, running somewhere or doing something. But no, I'm not actually a member. No.
We will hold you to that. Write that down, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Follow's going to run and we're all going to pay money, okay?
Yeah.
I'm running a 10k on Saturday. I'm dreading it. A really hilly one as well. And as you probably noticed yesterday, Simon, I'm not quite in the same condition as I was when we played football.
Yeah, neither am I. But anything else you want to raise, Mollo?
No,
before
all good. Just did it at the start. What a fantastic pre-match it was and half-time. And Vicky McClure's choir that I raised some money for with Gemma last year. So just love our club. I'm really glad we didn't have a minute's silence either. Not because I don't respect it, but I thought the way it was done was perfect. Plus, we always lose after a minute's silence. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but I have.
Okay, right. And last word with you, Kate. Any other business you want to bring up?
No, I think let's just enjoy that 3-point feeling over the international break and look forward to a trip to Anfield and see what that has in store for us.
Good stuff. Right, that brings us to the end of the show this week. We shall return next week with a preview of an easy trip to Liverpool. In the meantime, thanks everyone for listening, and we shall speak to you again real soon.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.